one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
Action. What's going on? Hello. Mike Kadlick, Taylor Kyles here for CLNS Media with a live roster deadline date reaction show here on the Patriots Daily podcast, powered by our good friends at PrizePicks. And Taylor, I just said it off the air. The reason I like these shows so much, it's kind of like I like our draft shows. It's that there's no real agenda. We kind of just sit and talk and react and see what news comes in, as the Patriots have to get down to 53 players in the next 23 minutes. We're a little late. Technical difficulties on my part. I apologize. If you know, you know. But I had some difficulties. I couldn't get here, and now there's a dog barking at me behind. Come on.
I was like, wait a minute, I don't have a dog. What's going on?
That's my wife's dog, who, as you can see, I'm down the Cape, just like I was last year for our roster reaction show. Taylor's at home in his new studio. And again, Patriots have to get to 53 players in just over 20 minutes here. So we're going to go through what happened today so far since last night's roster show. And kind of go from there as I help the dog up on the bed next to me and see what else happens throughout the next, the next 20
what my
minutes.
life's like, except my animals are a little bit smaller and can fit in. Oh, that was really cute. That was really sweet.
Where is she?
What's the dog's name? Tell her.
Ellie. Meet Ellie.
Ellie. Hi, Ellie. So loving. I hope her breath isn't bad.
She unplugged my microphone now and my light. So we're rolling. We're rolling on all cylinders. But as we know, roster cut down day here. And Patriots, big news today, Taylor, I would say. We spoke about it a little bit last night, the possibility. But the Patriots, come on. The Patriots released running back JaMycal Hasty, who feels to be someone who could potentially be a practice squad candidate, as they were able to bring him in pretty quickly out the scrap heap earlier, this summer. And are you having animal issues as well?
How did my cat get here? Because I put up a pet gate.
I like it. There's multiple people here. There's multiple parties involved. There you go. Ellie just walked out of the room. Let's talk about JaMycal Hasty. Were you kind of shocked? I know that was probably the big one here, but also like not a ton of moves right now. I know Andrew Callahan mentioned earlier on the radio that he doesn't expect anything huge from the Patriots today. And we're just about 20 minutes away, and things haven't necessarily hit the fan too much, but we're down to just about 62 players as we get closer to the deadline.
Yeah, JaMycal Hasty was a little surprising, especially because we haven't seen Terrell Jennings in a long time. But then we got some context to Terrell Jennings because he has also been released. I believe Mark Daniels mentioned he also could end up on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. So they go with 3 running backs. And you mentioned yesterday that it would make sense if they got rid of, oh my God, there's hair flying in my car. Gross. I love you. That's disgusting. But going in with 3 running backs isn't crazy, because if you find somebody on waivers, you think, oh my God, this is not off to a good start.
No, it's not.
Somebody on waivers who you think can give you more as a developmental piece, who can also contribute on special teams, maybe has shown that in the preseason with another team, then that makes sense. But you don't need a 4th running back. It's just, this is a roster where I know, like, I remember I was talking to Andrew Callahan, and he made a very good point that this is probably a team that is going to cut, not probably, but could be a team that cuts more than enough to fill the 53. They could end up with like 51, 50 players by the end of the day. So I don't think it's crazy necessarily that JaMycal Hasty got cut, but I do think he did everything this preseason that he could to earn a spot. But that's the business in the NFL. Sometimes you do literally everything you can, but when you're on the bottom of the roster, and I did mention Hasty was one of my final 1 or 2 guys just because of the situation and the circumstances surrounding him making the team, and the fact that he's a 4th running back. The Patriots have a formidable 3-headed monster. But whether it was Terrell Jennings or JaMycal Hasty, neither one of those guys was going to factor into the rotation outside of injury. So not a huge surprise, but I mean, on a day that we didn't really expect many surprises, if any, that is the only one that kind of sets off the radar of, oh, okay. I think that was the one thing I've gotten wrong so far. Okay. But obviously we have a lot more to go. But yeah, that so far is the only one that kind of, I wouldn't even want to say threw me, because you made a great point. Right, and why it could happen. But that was the first one that was like, oh, that didn't seem automatic necessarily.
Couple other moves today that have come out. As we know, and this is according to Mark Daniels from Mass Live, Efton Chisholm and Elijah Ponder, 2 UDFAs signed after the draft, made the Patriots roster. Now, these are 2 guys who, even from the jump, Taylor, when they first signed Ponder out of Cal Poly, you were like, this is a guy who can immediately make an impact and make this team. So you had that one from the jump. Chisholm, I feel like when they signed him early on, everyone was kind of on it. And then his stance on the roster kind of maybe shook a little bit. Nothing that he did, but he really
he had one kind of inconsistent week where
Yeah.
it's like you're in a UDFA. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but to that point,
you're fine.
truly, when we interviewed him, he mentioned, like, as a UDFA, this isn't college. You have to take advantage of every single opportunity you have. So there was that one week where I was like, okay, he's not catching everything. There are some tough opportunities, but he didn't convert on them. So I was a little bit worried just because the standard has to be very high for these UDFAs to make the roster. But since Minnesota, he looked like the best receiver in Minnesota, built on that with a fantastic preseason performance. Got hurt. We'll see, what his status is exactly. But yeah, he made the most of his opportunities more than I think a lot of other guys who were undrafted. And it got very obvious, I think, especially in that Vikings game where it's like, all right, he's done pretty much everything and thought he was going to have a dominant preseason. He followed that up with his performance. So I totally stole your thunder there. I'm sorry, but
you're totally fine. No, I
was very excited. That was one of my favorites to make the roster.
No, you helped me with the context there as far as like he did have that slight dip in the preseason where it's like, oh, okay, like, where is this going? But he clearly rebounded. He had the great week in Minnesota, like you said. And ever since you interviewed him out of Minnesota, he was just maybe it was you that just kind of put him on the upper trajectory. But
I can't take credit for that, but I think we were the first Boston outlet, non-TV. I don't know what goes on TV. I watch YouTube TV.
Sure.
But no offense to anybody. But I think we were like one of the first ones on YouTube to have an NFL Ethan Chisholm interview. That was pretty exciting. And once again, I cannot emphasize enough how great he was with us. The fact that he spoke to, he knew who Amit was. Again, Amit's behind the camera, so very understandably, sometimes players aren't familiar with him necessarily. But he walked up and was like, "Oh, Amit." We were all like, "Oh shit, this is a guy who knows his stuff." Was just very, very nice to interview. Chatted with us a little bit after the little interview we had with him. So yeah, just really cool to see him make the team. And also, of course, while I'm already on my tangent here, Elijah Ponder as a guy who came from Cal Poly, but when you look at his athleticism, he compares to like Khalil Mack. And we kind of heard about that more from Mike Smith in terms of being like, yeah, this is a kid who's like, he catches up to things a lot more quickly than you expect from young players. And when I asked the question, I was like, this guy's a really rare athlete as well. So he's got some freaky physical tools. You saw it on defense, still has a long way to go, as Mike Smith pointed out, but also the fact that he can contribute on special teams and is making impacts in different phases as a blocker, as a coverage player. Like, these are two guys who really put in the work, showed they could be versatile. Ethan Chisholm, not quite as much, but in his punt return opportunities, he showed some savvy, the ability to create his own blocks and make the most of those. So both of those guys really did put the work in to earn the opportunity to make the final 53-man roster. Again, we'll see what Chisholm's health status looks like, but Elijah Ponder, I'm telling you, like, that's a guy week one, he's probably going to be on the active roster, not just an inactive, because of his ability to contribute in the third phase.
A lot of Patriot memes flying from me today, just because that's what happens on roster cut day. I just like to irritate the masses on Twitter. One of which I threw out there was on Trent Brown, who was released from the Houston Texans today. Now, that one was a complete joke. Trent is not coming back. I know the Patriots want tackle depth, but for more reasons than one, I'm all set with Trent Brown. I think Trent Brown's all set with the Patriots, and I think the Patriots are all set with him as well. So that was never going to happen. That was just to get people up in arms. But the other one was Jakob Johnson, the fullback out of Houston. So he spent the offseason there. I can't remember if he was there last year as well, but he was here with Caserio, obviously, in New England for those couple seasons. He's kind of bounced around. He was with Josh in Vegas, and now he's seemingly I don't believe he's subject to waiver, so I think he could be a free agent. And
good.
We talk about this team and having they're going to have a 53-man roster in 14 minutes. That 53-man roster is going to change by week one against the Raiders. Wouldn't shock me at all, especially with. And this is something where I wonder, like, what these conversations are like right now behind closed doors, where you look at a Jack Westover, who we've all sort of projected to be that third, that third tight end / fullback on this roster. If McDaniels and Vrabel and even, Elliott Wolf and Stretch in the front office, when they see like a Jakob Johnson available, does that then change their entire dynamic midway through today? Like, okay, we might not need to keep Westover because we know we can go get Johnson and blah, blah, blah. There's so many moving parts, and I do just think it's fascinating and very interesting. So, but on that front, like, would Jakob Johnson be a guy who you would go get with the Patriots? Do you think you're good with him? I know he's 30 years old now, which it's not terribly old. I think he can still get the job done, but that was definitely one where, okay, the Patriot meme made sense, right? I think that's someone who could definitely fit with this Patriots team.
That's fair. So I'm not going to lie. I haven't gone super deep into the Jakob Johnson tape yet. But the familiarity with the system, the fact that he obviously fits the mold of a Josh McDaniels fullback. He's been on, different teams. Like he was on the Texans, got cut from the Texans, was on the Giants before, and they didn't hold on to him. So I do wonder what exactly he has left in the tank. I think that's pretty fair to question, but obviously it makes sense on paper. I don't want to blow smoke or anything and say that, yes, why wouldn't you sign Jakob Johnson? To be fair, at the Super Bowl, he was there. I recognized him even with the haircut, and I was very proud of myself. Although the dude's build, like he looks like a fullback among a bunch of reporters. But I slid in like, hey man, like what's the availability looking like? And he's like, hey man, I'm still trying to play. As we know, he obviously signed with the Texans shortly after. But that was more of a joke. I didn't get to ask him if he'd come back to the Patriots or what the interest was like. That was like the next time I see him, I'm gonna ask, but it was literally in passing. So that's really as much intel as I have on Jakob Johnson.
Sure.
If they think that he still has it physically, because he is on the older side, I believe he is. Let me check. He is currently 30 years old. Like, I don't think James Devlin was 30 when he retired.
Right.
That's not insignificant. Obviously, started his career a little bit later. Both those guys actually had unique career arcs, but I would love him if they think that he's physically fit and capable of still being an NFL fullback. But when you're 30 years old, man, that's a very short fullbacks do not have a long shelf life because it's a very physically demanding position. So I have no idea. But again, if they think he can hold up, I'm all for it because, as I mentioned with Jack Westover, I think he has the want to. I think that he is versatile in a way that they can appreciate. Thomas Brown back in the spring was talking about him pretty highly. But at the same time, maybe he stays as a fullback, but I still don't think he's the ideal type that Josh wants. But beggars can't be choosers. There's not a whole lot of guys that fit the fullback mold these days.
Cam Robinson, someone who I believe the Patriots had interest in this offseason when he was a free agent, ends up signing with the Texans, another Texans tackle that seems to be on the block. It was floated earlier that that the Texans were trying to trade him. Is that someone you want to flyer on? I know he's sort of a left tackle mold. I think you kind of have Will Campbell here. It doesn't really seem like an ideal depth player, right? Like he's someone who should maybe be able to start in this league. But I guess that just goes around to the fact that the tackle depth across the NFL is not that good. And the offensive line play, I guess, around the NFL isn't even really that good right now because the Texans, who are one of the worst offensive lines already in football, Trent Brown, gone. Cam Robinson on the block. Like they was that the cat hair?
No, I don't know. Maybe that tastes like shit. I made it. So that's a bad look for Tay.
They traded first round pick Kenyon Green to the Eagles, who also just got cut. So even that guy's not like. There's something wrong around the
Eagles cut you as lineman, like something's fishy there.
Exactly. So, and I'm not trying to excuse the Patriots. The offensive line room has been tough for the last couple of years, and we'll see it come 4 o'clock. Like when they put out these 8, 9, 10 offensive linemen, it's not going to be one of the best rooms by any means across the league. But are you still of the mindset that they need more tackle depth? They need more interior. I know they need more interior offensive line depth. They need starters there, frankly. But would you give a call on Cam Robinson, or where are you at on a guy like that?
No. Okay. Unless Doug Marrone really likes him, which I'm guessing he
Oh, that's right. There was a connection there. Yep.
Yeah. Obviously they drafted Will Campbell, so he didn't really need Cam Robinson. I'm sure. It sounded like the organization was dead set on Will Campbell for a long time. So maybe Doug Marrone's opinion of Cam Robinson didn't play a factor, but at the same time, they're keeping, according to Mark Daniels, they're probably keeping Vederian Lowe. Vederian Lowe doesn't come with any baggage. He's younger. Right. I think he's more physically capable. I don't think that Cam Robinson makes any sense. We know Marcus Bryant's making it. If you have Vederian Lowe, that's 4 tackles. You're not keeping 5. Because what are you going to do with Vederian Lowe? I don't know. It's just like Cam Robinson's already not going to play, and then you're going to make him the backup to a backup. I don't think that makes any sense. So no, I would not predict that Cam Robinson ends up on this team.
I wouldn't either. I just threw a bunch of storylines here in here to kind of get us through these next 20 minutes. Cam Robinson was one of them, again, because it seemed like they had some interest in the offseason and is now being floated on the trade block from the Texans. As we sit here 8 minutes away from final roster cuts.
The block is hot. The block is hot.
Patriots got about 61 players right now on the roster, I believe, according to my count. They have, since I had them at 64, released Terrell Jennings. They have also released G. Scott, and another one that I am now losing my count on is we're TBD on Jahvaree Ritzie. I can't figure out if they have him yet. So we're at like 62, 61 players. So they still need to make 7 more cuts. Now, two reports of note here as we inch closer is that Mark Daniels says that it looks like Kyle Duggar will begin the season on the Patriots 53-man roster.
That was one of the roster changes we made last night.
Yep. And then the other one, which is of note, he just tweeted, Mark did, I'd also not trust any Instagram rumors. And I think that has to do with Javon Baker, who
from your tweet.
From our good friend Uncle Mike Giardi tweeted Javon Baker's screenshot of his Instagram, and he seemingly wiped the Patriots clean of his on his social media. So I don't know what that meant.
Did you look into it? Was it just the Patriots, or did he just do one of those like?
I didn't look into it. I used to really care about that stuff, and as I've matured. No, for some reason I just don't really look into it as much anymore. I think that he's just kind of
You're getting old.
I'm getting old. I am like
born old fart.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think it probably was real. But people do that shit all the time on social media. They kind of they pull things, they archive their posts, they turn their Twitter profile picture black, and then it meant nothing. And then they say, oh, the media looks too far into it. But Javon Baker did it. And so according to Mark Daniels, the Instagram rumors might not be true. I think he will end up being on this team in the next 5 minutes. We will obviously have to wait and see. But the big one there is that it sounds like, at least according to Mark, that Kyle Duggar will make the Patriots.
Yeah, that was something. Kyle Duggar will make the Patriots.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, we mentioned that last night. That was our swap. One of the only ones I think I made on my roster was Marcus Epps off, Kyle Duggar on. Mm-hmm. Initially, when it looked like Kyle Duggar really just didn't have it anymore, I figured they would try to do whatever they could to get rid of him, just because I didn't see him playing special teams, and it felt like he wouldn't really maybe want to be here if they felt that he wasn't going to be used and had to be relegated to maybe potentially exclusively a special teamer. But then the last game, Kyle Duggar's stock went up. Marcus Epps' stock went down, in my opinion. I don't think he was going to be covering tight ends and man coverage very often, Marcus Epps, but he really struggled at it. And really, it was also not a fit. I think he requested to be released specifically, which could explain why he wasn't at practice all week. So not surprising. The fact that Kyle Duggar looked more like himself is obviously a big plus, but we always have the undercurrent of that is preseason. They were playing backups, but he looked like a starter against backups. So it's going to be interesting to monitor how exactly he's used in week 1. Maybe they use him more in the slot. Like the way we saw him in the preseason doesn't necessarily mean that's how he's going to be used in the regular season. Like Peppers in that one game was only in the slot. I don't think that's how they're going to use him, but it's one of those things where, okay, first week of the season, was that a foreboding of what was coming, or were they just trying things out? So I think it's best that Kyle Duggar's still on the roster, because what are you going to do? You're going to trade him to another team for a conditional 7th round pick, conditional best 6th round pick, and then you also have to eat a lot of the money. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you're going to be paying for him to be on another team and he's still showing that maybe he can contribute for you, especially considering, again, with no Marcus Epps and with the questions with Peppers and Duggar, just considering their preseason use and their health, safety depth could be kind of shaky if things go the wrong way. So again, I just think in a team that wants to use 3 safeties, it makes sense to keep him.
We have a report from Ian Rappaport.
Yeah, you looked. I could see it on your face. I was like, I'm talking too long.
Kendrick Bourne has made the Patriots 53-man roster.
Okay.
Andrew Callahan posted that Kyle Duggar is staying in New England on the 53-man roster, and Ian Rappaport quoted it and said, Kendrick Bourne as well. Life is fluid. Both stick for now. That's interesting because he has not practiced in some time. Yeah. And we know that they can use that 4-game short-term IR on him, and yet they keep him on the 53. Now, there's not a lot of room in that wide receiver room. If at least what we're seeing now, Kendrick Bourne has made it, Efton Chisholm's made it. Do they maybe short-term IR Kyle Williams? That could make some sense because then we're looking at a Mac Hollins, a Stephon Diggs.
But if Chisholm made it, he could still go on injured reserve.
He could,
but because he's not a veteran, so I don't think he was one of the guys that was eligible for short-term IR. Because Kyle Williams, as we know, returned to practice. We're allowed to talk about that. Kyle Williams was back. Yes. We have not seen Efton Chisholm. Efton Chisholm could make it. Kendrick Bourne also makes it because he can play maybe like after a week or two once he gets some practice and, he gets his legs back. And then you put Efton Chisholm on short-term IR. He comes back later in the season because you don't need him as much. I think that's
right. Okay. We'll see what happens. But again, kind of surprised. So Chisholm makes it. Williams makes it. Bourne makes it. Hollins, Diggs, Pop,
it's going to be receivers. But also, again, running backs. What are we talking about? JaMychal Hasty gets cut. JaMychal Hasty gets cut if you need room for a position that's going to have a surplus. Now we have a position that has a surplus.
That's fair.
Damn. That's pretty good math for me.
It's not bad.
Man's not good at maths. Man's quite bad at maths.
It's going to be fascinating. We have 2 minutes, so I think this is a good time to hear from our good friends over at PrizePicks. We'll talk about them. By the time I'm done with this read, it'll be 4:00, and we should have what is close to the Patriots' final 53-man roster. So please give me a second. There's PrizePicks. Head over to PrizePicks right now. The best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks had made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, and all you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. So run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can mix and match player projections with different sports on PrizePicks right now. The preseason just came to an end, which means the regular season in football is just around the corner. We're less than 2 weeks out, folks. It's going to be super exciting. And if you want to get in, again, on the action, use PrizePicks to do so. The app is super easy to use. All you got to do is create a lineup and just pick more or less on at least a few players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your money. And that money, you can receive it through Venmo, through Apple Pay, through MasterCard, and more. They give you quick and easy deposits into your account through the entirety of the sports season. If you sign up today, you get $50 in lineups instantly after you play $5. You don't even need to win. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 lineup. That $50 in lineups is guaranteed. So make sure right now to go download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly again after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Thank you to PrizePicks. As always, it is 4:00, and that means the Patriots are supposed to have a 53-man roster now. We'll wait and see if it becomes official. There's going to be plenty of NFL news coming in right now, so that's why I'm looking to my left, because I have another monitor up here. So I'm sorry that I'm not looking at all you 5,300 plus people watching right now across YouTube and Twitter. That's amazing. We love it, and we appreciate you as always. But it is 4:00, and Kendrick Bourne made the Patriots 53-man roster. That is still wild to me, Taylor. Giardi Tavai is going to be one of the short-term guys. I really did think that Kendrick Bourne made the most sense there, but we don't have it yet. I'm just saying that. No, sorry, I didn't mean to confuse, but
just because I genuinely didn't know. I'm trying to up as well.
8 wide receivers.
We're all here together, people. We're all learning at the same time. There's been no news, really significant news that I've seen since Bourne and Duggar.
All right.
Also, I will say that Ian Rappaport specifically said that life is fluid.
Yeah.
Kyle Duggar and Kendrick Bourne.
Right.
I would assume that both are potential trade candidates. Part of it, my thinking when, the JaMychal Hasty thing is with Efton Chisholm. Again, we have not seen Efton Chisholm on the field since he got injured against the Vikings. So obviously you're thinking maybe he's the guy that you want to keep on injured reserve. That's why you keep Kendrick Bourne. Do you know? I feel like this is such an Alex question.
It's okay. Ask away. I'll see if
you're watching, hop in the chat and we'll put you on. Or you can try to call him because we've done that before. But if you're on injured reserve, can you still be traded? Actually, I feel like I can Google that.
I don't know, but when I think about it this way, if they put him on injured reserve, he would automatically miss the first 4 games, right? And so if they trade him on IR,
he can't be traded from injured reserve. Yeah, but he would also miss
he would miss those games with the other team. So they keep him on the roster while they work out the trade, then they get him off the roster, and then they can elevate somebody else in the process. So it's just again, surprising, but we'll see where it comes and we'll see where it takes us. I just, again, 8's a lot, but it's fluid. It's super fluid. And it's really, I forget who had said it a couple weeks ago.
You have news.
Okay.
Wait, was that something? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have it. What do you got?
Mark Daniels says that Javon Baker has made the Patriots 53-man roster. Is there another source that has been more on Javon making the roster and being like, stop talking about him as a wide receiver? He's a special teamer and he has earned his spot. I feel like a lot of people have been kind of acting like he was really like on the bubble like that. He probably was. I'm not saying he was a lock, but
that first game, preseason game against Washington in Foxborough, he made like 3 plays on special teams, and I was just like, he's it. He's the guy. And he made a tackle, and Vrabel came again. We talked about it, but we'll talk about it again here. Vrabel pulled him off the field and was like super excited for Javon Baker. And ever since then, I was just like, he's one of his guys. He likes him. There's something about him. They're going to find a role for him. And yes, it doesn't seem like he's going to be a wide receiver necessarily. I mean, he's a wide receiver. I was going to say he's Matthew Slater. He's not Matthew Slater, but he's a wide receiver, but he's really a special teamer. And that's kind of the point. And it's awesome for him because it's somebody who, even through a year and a half in the NFL, has kind of been through a lot. He was drafted in the 4th round. He had ups and downs. He spoke out, in the media last season when he probably shouldn't. Said the wrong things. His development has been kind of shot. It was certainly shot last year. But to come in with a new mindset, new head coach, buy in, and realize, look, if this is my way out on an NFL roster playing special teams, then so be it. Yeah, keep working on your wide receiver technique in the background. But if you can turn into a special teamer, go for it. I think it's awesome for Javon Baker. Super happy for him. He deserves it. He's had the camp as a special teamer, worthy of a 53-man roster spot. We'll see what happens at wide receiver for him. But yeah, no, we, like you said, Taylor, we've kind of been on it on this show, and I just think that he brings a ton to that aspect of the game. So good for him. It sounds like maybe they are, going to keep 8 wide receivers here after all.
And think about it. Like when we talk about Javon Baker, no one complains that like, oh, Javon Baker's always covered. No one's like, oh, against press, damn, Javon always getting, stuck at the line. The conversation is always Javon Baker is not finishing at the catch point. Does he get dancy at the top of routes like Mike Vrabel even called him out for that in Minnesota? Yeah, sure, because he's still inexperienced as a route runner. But he excels at getting off the line. He excels at getting open, especially deep. That's his whole thing. It's just that he does not capitalize when the ball hits him in the hands consistently. I think that's a confidence thing because while he was inconsistent that way in college as well, it's just gotten so bad. It's like a Jalen Polk situation where it's like, this guy's clearly in his head. But that skill set, as Mike Vrabel continuously says, is when I asked Javon Baker, how exactly does playing wide receiver help you on special teams? He mentioned getting off press, using my speed, using my power. Those things make him incredibly difficult to press off the line when he's a gunner. It's the same thing. And when you put 2 guys on him, he's still very strong, so he can split those guys. And he's got very good spatial awareness. So he doesn't overrun. He's usually right in the area. The thing is, Brendan Schooler obviously usually beats him there. But Javon is right there where if for whatever reason Schooler got blocked out of the way, he could still follow up with the tackle. So then you add that with the fact that you've seen, okay, he is not only willing, but effective as a tackler because he does have long arms. He has big hands. He's fast. He makes sense as a special teamer. You've seen the skill set as a wideout. Now the fact that he is willing to really go all out and be like, you know what, I'm going to put that effort and earn a role on this team. And we know that Mike Vrabel likes him. It's very obvious the way they interact that there's a relationship there. The fact that somebody pointed out, I forget who it was, the only time that Javon is smiled when speaking to us is when he talked about Vrabel. So that
you forgot who said it. Do you want to know who noticed it?
Was it you?
Me.
Okay, just making sure.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't want to discredit anybody. I was like, you can speak for yourself.
I'm joking.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Because I didn't have Javon Baker on the roster early on in the summer. I did not see how he was going to make it because I knew he was going to be inconsistent as a receiver. Even when he was doing well at receiver, I kept saying, like when Alex, we did the first joint pod or the first crossover, and Alex was understandably excited, but I was like, he also he made a really bad mistake too. It's always been the yin and the yang with him as a receiver. Special teams, he has been a legitimate playmaker. Now let's see how he does in the regular season against better special teams players. But you got to be really happy for him because it's kind of like Kayshon Boutte. We were saying I hope he gets on the Kayshon Boutte track where he really buys in and just reassesses. And it hasn't worked out offensively, but man, it's clearly worked out at wide receiver. I'm just excited for him. I feel like
I want to stay on wide receiver for a while because I know I've said it 3 or 4 times here and you said it too, but keeping 8 wide receivers on an active roster to start is a lot. And I know there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, but the huge one here, I think, is Kendrick Bourne. And for him to have missed so much time since that first in-state, he missed the entire preseason game slate. He's been out since the in-stadium practice. So maybe a lot of work behind the scenes mixed with knowing Josh McDaniel's system. And I know we just talked about as a potential for a trade, but if he's healthy, Taylor, is Kendrick Bourne going to maybe factor into this offense more than we think? Or is this purely I guess clerical, for lack of a better term, administrative, they keep him now, they move him later, they move in. Do you really think that he can factor into this team? Because again, the second basically he went down that Friday night, everyone across the beat was like, yeah, I think Kendrick Bourne's time is done here. And now he makes the team, and I feel like things can suddenly change. What's your take on it if it's not merely clerical and if, he could actually – maybe they consider him as a part of the offense?
I'm not going to overthink it until we see him on the field. Because, again, like Ian Rappaport said, his and Kyle Duggar's situations are fluid.
Yeah, I know.
Another thing to take into consideration is what have we seen them do with Anthony Jennings, someone who clearly they have talked about trading and who they know has value on the trade market. When people talk about how the Patriots, no one wants what the Patriots have, it's usually around a Cole Strange, a Kyle Duggar. No one talks about Anthony Jennings like that. I feel like for them, it's just going to be what is most we can get for him before the regular season starts. And they held him out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're the same. This is all speculation, to be very clear.
Sure.
But I also Kendrick Bourne still has missed a lot of time. We can see, yes, he's been in Josh McDaniel's offense. Yes, he's worked with Drake May. But the combination of those things has been brief, where he has been with Drake May in Josh McDaniel's offense. He was also a backup before he got hurt. He was repping with Joshua Dobbs more and more once Stephon Diggs came back, which we predicted was going to happen because Diggs is a Z or a flanker, which is where Kendrick Bourne usually plays. So I'm not looking too much into it. Because again, it's Stephon Diggs' job, and then it's going to be Mac Hollins' job.
Right.
I don't even know where Kendrick Bourne plays. If we're even talking about him making the team, even if Ethan Chisholm is on IR, it was, and especially when we were speculating, it was all right, is Kyle Williams going to be healthy? Also, the short-term IR was, okay, if somebody gets hurt, if a Mac Hollins unfortunately went down, Kendrick Bourne makes perfect sense. He's the perfect plug-in. They have very similar kind of skill sets in certain ways. But he's not going to get more snaps than Diggs. And you're hoping that if Kyle Williams is healthy, he's going to play more. So, yeah, I'm not looking too much into the Kendrick Bourne thing. I think this is a situation where they're keeping him, but he has a very high potential to be moved.
All right. Well, we have, let's see.
Also, it looks like the Patriots kept 8 receivers. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I'm laughing at the is that subliminal messaging? Not really. That's not subliminal.
No, but also I will say we did, you initiated it. There's a Michael Hasty saying that he could get cut. And then I did think about it. I was like, no, you're actually right.
Well, that was the thing from yesterday. Yeah, right.
Right. And the caveat was, where's the surplus?
Right.
And now, bro, fist bump. We might have been on this.
Bang. We got it.
Bang.
We did. That's why we worked together. That's why That's why we're the best tandem in Boston sports media right now. And
I need to do that. It makes me feel icky. I
What's that?
love everybody. I love everybody.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's not.
No, I
against
know.
anybody. We
I'm
love
making you
everybody.
look like a jerk. I'm making you look like a jerk. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I know. But yeah, no, we sniffed that one out a bit, figuring that there could be a surplus elsewhere. Whether it was, my thought was safety too, more so, because when I did it, I actually took off Hasty, put Duggar on. But again, that's doesn't really. Duggar made it too. Sounds like so. Maybe we're just right here all the time, but as we're not. Marcus,
no, but seriously, that was because I liked Jermichael Hasty to make the team, but that was the one way that he probably wasn't going to. Is like, all right, if you're going to cut him, it's probably because you need depth somewhere else. And still, safety, I feel like they do need depth because they want to play 3 guys.
There's so many ways that they can move these guys around and have to make transactions. And I feel like I've said it for the last week and a half on the show, but like the roster that comes out today is going to be probably marginally different, as far as waiver claims goes and bringing different guys in and blah, 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 and injured reserve. And so like even Hasty going out, there's a weird surplus at wide receiver, but then if they do add a guy and IR him, and then you bring Hasty back. Like there's so many moving parts. So it's like, we try and guess what the 53-man roster means. And all it does is just cut out the fat and get some, legit, not legit guys on the roster, but it gets you sort of to that number. And then all the moves happen after that. So
somebody in the chat is mad, I think maybe at our fist bump. And he's saying, what's he saying? Say cringe. I'm like, bro, you do not know this show. If you think that was cringe,
do it again.
You must be new. Boop. That's how we rock here.
But the funniest thing is,
as much news as I can, because I want to see if we have any confirmation on what the actual 53 is.
If you don't like the fist bump, you don't have to watch the show. Secret, by the way.
Or you can just also initiate a fist bump. It's okay.
Yeah, that too.
Throw one in the chat.
Why don't we have more Patriots news, Taylor? We're at 414, and I still feel like we're at like 60 players. Cole Strange right now is still a Patriot.
Yeah, Cole Strange is an interesting one. We haven't heard anything about him.
No.
Are there any other cuts that you thought were interesting today from earlier in the day?
Yeah.
Damn, there's no updates.
I thought Truman Jones had a chance, especially with Anthony Jennings up in the air.
Anthony Jennings is also still like, what exactly is going to happen? Is he going to make the 53? He could.
Right. Yeah.
So Anthony Jennings made it. So let's look at let me look at. I'm going to update my sheet. Can you give me questions? Throw things at me while I update my sheet. And then I'll try to make it.
Throw things at you. I'm going to throw my water bottle at you.
Bang.
I
have to do. I'll figure it out.
Does Jakob Johnson being available change how the Patriots attack having Jack Westover on the roster? I know we kind of just did that, but I can't think of anything else.
That's this way. No, it's too much detail. TBD. I'll end on TBD on that one. I know that's boring, but I did already talk about it. It's okay. We can calm down. We're all learning together.
Talk about the kick. Oh, Brian, welcome in. Talk about the kickers. That's right. We didn't even touch kicker. John Parker Romo cut today. Andres Borregales, Andy Borregales makes the team. He is the starting kicker. Feels like a long-term play rather than a short-term play to me, Taylor. I think John Parker Romo is probably the better kicker over the last, sort of the latter half of the preseason, but they gave Borregales the reps in the final preseason game. I felt like the writing was kind of on the wall since then. And it's going to be Borregales' job until it's not. I feel like Parker Romo could potentially come back on the practice squad. Was that the right decision, in your opinion? Do you think Borregales deserves the job, or do you think it should have been Parker Romo's, or a little bit more open-ended, I guess?
I think they just had their mind made up. I feel like it's right, wrong, or whatever. It was just very obvious the past couple of weeks that they did not think Parker Romo was going to make the team. So it's kind of hard to say. I thought he was doing well. I know Alex loved him. Brian, you can hop in if you want to. I know you're probably on the boat, Brian, We know you're probably on the boat having fun on the seven seas, Brian. But we won't mind if you're enjoying the sun while also hopping in the chat to talk kickers.
We should get Brian on if he's ready, willing, and able. Ready, willing, and vrable.
Ahmed is literally seething behind the scenes. Like he is on the boat. That's son of a gun. But Parker Romo was doing well. He was inconsistent. I think once joint practices hit, like things were going really well until joint practice. That's where everything started to get shaky. And that's what you expect. You stop practicing against people that you know, and you go up against another team. And then you can have great days like the Patriots had against the Commanders on offense, where they just pick them apart all day. Then you have practices like the Giants, where you had two, and there was one where you were like up and down, but pretty good. And then another day where you were just like dominated thoroughly. It can be very up and down, and that happens to kickers as well. I don't know exactly how it works. I need to make sure we got to make sure we show up to Fridays consistently, so we always have something for Jeremy Springer, kicker related every week. We'll take. Honestly, it would be fun. We'll have people ask, see like if anybody wants Jeremy Springer question. Maybe we can facilitate that. Everybody loves special teams, but I think they wanted Andy Borregales. Like, you draft a guy with a pretty significant pick. I understand that Jeremy Springer said it doesn't matter where you were taken. What else are you going to say? It's like Elliot Wolf saying, "Will we trade a first or second round pick?" Yes. What else are you supposed to say when asked a question like that? Realistically, Andy Borregales would have had to, like, I think Giardi said it really well. It was like you had to like kind of pull a Rohrwasser and literally hit the porta potties to not make the team as Andy Borregales. So I think got to the point where they're like, we're not going to keep working Parker out when we know he's not going to be on the team. I don't know if it's just like, hey, let's do the guy a solid and make sure he's got like a paycheck for another couple weeks, and then we let him test the market. I don't know how that stuff works exactly, but it was just very obvious. It was Andy Borregales' job to lose. He was inconsistent, but like, he's a rookie kicker. You're going to have to deal with that. And like we mentioned it yesterday, I don't know if they're trying to like kind of break down his mechanics and start over again, or what exactly it is, because the thing that was his strength in college no longer is his strength. Maybe it's confidence. I don't know. Another thing when you talked about his college scouting report was, this is a guy who doesn't get rattled. Like, he's very consistent. Right. He can, like, I think he missed a long yarder early last year and then like didn't miss again the rest of the season. So it was, fairly easy to believe that, yeah, this is a kid who can really lock in. But we're going to see. He's going to, be in NFL games with full stadiums, hopefully. And it's going to be hopefully
by week 10.
High leverage games and situations. We'll see how it goes. What other podcast is talking about freaking the kicker competition that long without Brian or Alex?
I was going to say, it's only just an FYI, I'm reading the comment that's on screen. My brother just sent me a screenshot watching you guys in Pennsylvania while we discuss the cuts at the same time. I'm watching you guys in Mass. Appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Love the support all across the country, all across the globe. Walter says, love how the CLNS guys are all buds. Sports should be fun. Damn right. See, sometimes people take it too serious. That's the beauty of like live podcasting, conversations, instead of like stand up.
Too philosophical. They're gonna stop liking us.
Yeah, I guess you're right. No, you're right.
Don't let them behind the curtain too far.
Yeah,
no,
right.
But I'm over here being like, who else talking about the kickers? I'm just overcompensating. I genuinely cannot believe I can tell I'm going on for a while. Like, when Mike breaks eye contact for like a few seconds, I'm like, I understand because you have your own job to do, but I'm like, damn, if I can do that for kickers, I'm doing well. Anything else, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because my ass be rambling. But if it's tight ends or kickers, I'm pretty proud.
On the other player that Ian Rappaport mentioned could be sort of fluid and things are fluid is Kyle Duggar. He's been sort of that coffee really stinks, Taylor, huh?
Bad. I can't believe I made this.
Kyle Duggar's been a lightning rod here lately, but he is going to make the 53-man roster. That's according to multiple reports. Is this a long-term thing with Duggar? I know we kept mentioning fluid, but like, is he more likely to stick around than call it a Kendrick Bourne? Do you think, because we mentioned like Bourne's been on this downslope since that injury in that Friday night practice. Kyle Duggar's been kind of ticking up, and it seems like they have sort of a 4 safety rotation that we've thought of with with Woodson and Hawkins and Peppers and Kyle Duggar. Yes, Kyle Duggar sort of started taking second team reps, but if he keeps ticking up, maybe he gets back in the rotation at, in the starting defense. So do you think that's a salvageable player? Or do you think that's more like, I guess what's more likely? What's more likely? Here's my question for you. Is Kyle Duggar on the Patriots by week 17 or week 18, however many weeks there are now, because there's 17 games? Is Kyle Duggar, what's more likely? Kyle Duggar still on the Patriots by week 18 or Kyle Duggar gets traded by, call it, week 4?
First of all, so cool, from Ireland. I am
yeah.
actually Irish. My last name is Kyles, although that's for different reasons. But I'm also actually Irish on my mother's side. So thank you so much. That is very cool.
I'm Irish as well. You could probably tell.
Hell yeah. We're all family. Also, thank you all. Seriously, the chat is, it's really nice when I get a chance to like catch my breath and I look over and everybody's being cool. Also very awesome when we start the chat and everyone's saying hi to each other. Like that's really cool shit. Anyway, also Italians. I'm also Italian. So yeah, hell yeah. A lot of fam in the chat. Oh, Tommy Cutlets?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a Tommy Cutlets discussion at some point. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that after this. But speaking specifically about Kyle Duggar, again, like Ian Rappaport was saying, it's a fluid situation. To me, that says there's a decent chance that he gets moved pretty quickly. Our pal Ricky, gotta shout out Ricky. We will not silence him.
No, I can't. Yeah.
Is he right all the time? No one is. But Ricky is on so much. We have to acknowledge him. He did mention that Jacoby Myers and Kyle Duggar have potentially been floated in trade talks. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea, but it's a fun hypothetical that we could at least talk about. Actually, that's probably the best way to go with this Kyle Duggar situation in an interesting vein, because oh my God, we've beaten this thing to death. Like, yeah, he's probably going to get traded. It doesn't seem like a good fit. We understand this, right? It's very unlikely, it seems, based on everything that has been reported in the trade talks, that Kyle Duggar is going to be on the team by week 8. So if you're talking about Kyle Duggar for Jacoby Myers, where does Jacoby play? Like, I know. Kayshon,
he's going to be their 9th receiver. like, what the hell? What does that even mean? Like, what does that mean?
Kayshon Boutte has earned the top X spot. I was someone who thought, I was like, hopefully he rotates with Kyle Williams and Kyle Williams takes over. No, Kayshon Boutte we already know he's a great blocker. He has great awareness and execution at the end of halves, but also he's really built a chemistry with Drake May where it's not just the go balls every once in a while and, some stuff over the middle. Like, they're developing some back shoulder capabilities. And it just feels like whenever Kayshon Boutte is targeted and doesn't catch a ball, we're all surprised. Like, oh, wow, okay. Like, Alex Austin made a good play, because it's usually those guys against each other. So I think Kayshon Boutte is someone who will be a significant part of this offense, because Drake is clearly comfortable throwing to him. We know that Demario Douglas, unless he's a part of this trade or you're planning on moving him, he's going to play. Right. He's way too effective to be on your roster and be your 4th receiver. It's just not realistic. They would get toasted for that. We would toast them because it's that's horrible. Like we did it last year with Alex Van Pelt. When Demario Douglas wasn't used enough, we're thinking this is malpractice. And then Alex Van Pelt eventually used Pop more. So if Kayshon Boutte and Pop are still on the team, now it's okay. Is Jacoby Myers taking snaps away from Stephon Diggs? That means a significant move away from Stephon Diggs. And Diggs is breaking down huddles. I'm not saying that's an end-all be-all.
Right.
But all they're saying is he's doing the right things, unless there's more going on behind the scenes that we know. And Diggs has made a situation where they're like, maybe it's not the best thing to go along with this guy because he is still a relative unknown. We still have not seen him in a preseason game. That's the most live action you can get at this point. Vrabel has said that he's held him out, but still, he is an unknown in live action in this offense with Drake May. Those are all different factors. So if you're saying we want to move on from Stephon Diggs, then Jacoby Myers makes sense because he is the guy that exactly what he's going to look like. He still needs to latch on with Drake May, but that he knows the offense. And if anything, he's a benefit to Drake because Stephon Diggs is still learning the offense himself. And even and still, I could see Jacoby Myers and Matt Collins mixing in because Matt Collins does a lot of different things. He's a tight end sometimes, like he's going to have his role. The only way that you get Jacoby Myers on this team is, I think, if you move on from Stephon Diggs. Nothing else makes sense, and I don't think there's anything else that keeps you from significant controversy and criticism. Moving on from Diggs as an unknown quantity, some people are going to give you shit, but you're relatively safe. If you move on from, I think, Pop for Jacoby Myers when he's 29 years old and you're paying him, that you can't justify that. And I think there's other people that have earned reps more than even as Jacoby Myers would be effective. He's older and you'd have to pay him significant money. And Diggs is making big money. Like, unless you move on from him, it makes absolutely no sense in my mind.
So would you move on from Diggs if you could get Jacoby Myers here? Or are you banking on the Diggs upside?
Sure, because like Jacoby is still younger and he is a known quantity in this style of offense.
Sure.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He's proven his mettle. He's someone who you can target 100 times and he's going to be effective. Mm-hmm. And everything else is a bonus. It's like, okay, you have your elite number 2, which is significant because the elite number 2 is a security blanket that a young quarterback needs. We don't know. We want Diggs to be that, but also what happens when he's not the focal point of the offense? We don't know. History tells us that unless there is an alpha like Nico Collins who can take attention away from him, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. I'm not crazy. Unless there's that kind of presence, history tells us that Stephon Diggs wants his targets. And Drake even said when he was asked about targeting Stephon Diggs, he was like, yeah, if he's open, I'll throw to him.
I liked that answer. I liked that answer.
Bro, I was like, nah, like, bet, stand your ground. Like, yeah. Because that's what it is.
I'm not just going to pepper this dude to get him his targets. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, dude, I have to learn a new offense. I'm trying not to turn the ball over. The last thing Drake May needs is somebody in his ear being like, why am I not getting the ball? It's like, dude, the progression is not targeting you. Talk to Josh. It's not my fault. Like, I when Diggs was signed, I assumed that there was an understanding there of like, I will do whatever I got to do because you are paying me a lot of money coming off an ACL tear and you are putting a lot of faith in me. I will be a good soldier. If they feel he's not being a good soldier for whatever reason, I'm not saying he's not. But if that is the case, and, his past has now started to creep into the present, then, I understand, bring in Jacoby. Because we know Jacoby can get targeted once in a game. But as long as we put him at the point of attack on blocks and he can eat and, like, put some people on the ground, he'll be happy. And he's going to earn his targets. And he's, again, going to help Drake as well. If that is your move and you move on from Stephon Diggs, I'm cool with Jacoby. And that's all right, you pay him instead of Diggs somehow. But and you move on from Duggar, and then it's a player for player thing. I don't know how the Diggs thing would work out. But I think a player swap in terms of role or roster placement is the only way that Jacoby Myers makes any sense.
We have plenty of questions in the chat regarding this.
And none of this is against Stephon Diggs, by the way. I'm literally all of this is hypothetical. I'm saying if they did trade for Jacoby Myers, I think it would have to be because Stephon Diggs is not the person you invested in.
Sure. So I'm going to ask, I can't find the question in the chat right now, but I'm going to go for it anyway, about the salary cap implications if they cut Diggs. I don't think there's many. Like, I think he's they gave him his upfront signing bonus and he's basically cuttable. And you'd probably have to cut him a check or something.
I'm not good with contracts, but I'm gonna.
That's fine. I wrote about something a couple months ago when they did it. Albert Breer had it for Sports Illustrated, and he made $22 million guaranteed for injury. He's not going to be hurt, so they would cut him without an injury designation. I think you'd make like $16 million and you send him on his way. That's not that bad.
So according to Over the Cap, if you look under the filter of cut post June 1st. In 2025, he would have $8.6 million in dead money and $100,000 in cap savings. If you cut him, let's see, anything pre-June 1st is kind of ugly. You save, but it's not much.
Okay.
So if you're talking about a trade post-June 1st, you save $700,000 because you have $4 million in dead money and $4.7 in cap savings. So It's not that bad if you can trade him.
It's not that bad. I don't know. Again, this is purely hypothetical. We're just kind of going for it. And the reason we're looking at it too is
again, this is not the cap show. That is Patriots beat. They are much more equipped for. We're like, is right brain the creative one?
Yeah.
I just think of it as like where like your
know.
brain kind of just lives in the ether, and the other side of the brain is the one where like it can work on like highways and like is very traversable. That's Patriots beat. Over here,
like
we live in the ether.
We do live in the ether here on Patriots
Oh
Daily.
no! Oh no! Oh no!
I'm out of this pointless.
Come
on, Jack H. Well, the reason we're having it is because there's no final 53-man roster yet. We're 32 minutes past the deadline, and Mike Vrabel's on his Bill Belichick shit right now, not giving us anything on what the Patriots are doing for the final 53.
No rats.
No. Yeah, he's not letting it get out from the rats. They're probably getting a freaking social media post or a press release ready for it and not letting anybody know. Did the Cowboys cut Joe Milton? That would be something. I don't see it. Never mind. No, not yet. Someone thought it. Someone tweeted it, but no, they cut Will Grier and they kept Joe Milton. Bring Will Grier back. Hashtag bring Will Grier back.
Your boy.
We're at 10,600 live viewers across Twitter and YouTube. This is great. We appreciate the hell out of it, guys, as always.
Thank you.
I'll give us a couple promos here and just say to, if you're watching this and you're new to the show, this is Patriots Press Pass, the YouTube channel. And while this is Patriots Daily, with CLNS Media's Patriots beat reporter Taylor Kyles and myself, Mike Kadlick, contributor here to the channel. We also have plenty of other content here on this YouTube channel. We have the Patriots Beat podcast that we just mentioned with Alex Barth and Brian Hines. We also have Greg Bedard's Patriots podcast from Boston Sports Journal, Andrew Callahan's Pat's Interference podcast, Andrew of the Boston Herald, and Mike Giardi's All 32 podcast with Parkinson. Why can't I think of Parkinson's name? Will Parkinson. I just hit him up on Twitter the other day. I couldn't think of his name. Mike and Will do the All 32 podcast here as well, covering the entirety of the NFL. So we kind of hit pretty much everything here on Press Pass with a bunch of podcasts across. And we also have a cool night show with Matt St. Jean and Pat Lane as well. So check it out here if you're interested. We also have a membership tier or a membership service, if you will, as well, with a bunch of tiers. Taylor Kyles runs point on that with a bunch of exclusive film breakdowns regarding the Patriots. And there's 3 tiers here: rookie, starter, all pro, and GOAT status. All of our normal content is free, but this is just some extra stuff. There's custom emojis. We have merchandise that's slowly being built out here on CLNS, so you get discounts on that. And there's a bunch of it. So if you want to get in on that, grab your membership tier as well on Patriots Press Pass. But the least you can do, if you're not already, with the 10,000 plus people here, and as we break it up, there's about 1,500 on YouTube exclusively. If you're not already subscribed, do us a huge favor and subscribe to Patriots Press Pass. It really helps us out, and we'll keep giving you this awesome Patriots content. So that's our spiel here.
Oh my God, that's such a big number.
What, the people watching?
Yeah,
it's incredible. I can't believe
also the number of wide receivers, but yeah. Topical.
10,700 viewers across all platforms and 8 wide receivers on the Patriots. So
damn,
incredible stuff.
Don't want to be sad.
Still wait.
Are you like waiting?
I'm just kind of waiting for a roster. Last night when I was getting not really entirely preparing for the show, but I was like, what did we do last year? I couldn't remember it. I knew I was down the Cape last year as well for this live show. Oh, the Patriots just tweeted out their roster.
Did they?
So I'm going to stop ranting.
Oh, great timing.
There's 7 wide receivers.
Dylan Polk and Jelani Tavai on injured reserve.
Diggs, Douglas, Hollins, Williams. What wide receiver am I missing here? Kendrick Bourne is not on the final 53-man roster. So don't know where that came from, but at least according to the Patriots, he's not on the team. So that was a lot of
Cole Strange made the roster.
So, okay. All right. So then timeout, because what the Patriots tweeted out is different from what's being reported elsewhere, because Mike Reese just tweeted that Cole Strange was released. So
whoa, okay.
I don't know. Someone messed up, whether it's an agent, whether
the
it's
Patriots tweeted that out. Do not quote me. I'm quoting the Patriots. The Patriots. Yeah. I will show the picture. I will show the picture.
Let's give it a little while here, Taylor.
I'm going to show, because I'm not getting in trouble for what they did. So 1 sec. Share screen. That's nuts. What?
I don't know. We gotta figure this out.
Because look at that. Look at that. Cole Strange right there. Wait. Oh, that's
so Jalen Polk and Jelani Tavai on IR, as you said. Jack Conley, Cole Strange gets cut.
But look at that. Webb. Cole Strange is right there.
Oh, Patriots. All right. So then let's
don't get mad at me.
Take that down.
Yeah.
And let's rephrase.
That's not true. That's not real.
Cole Strange was released.
Okay. I'm gonna pull that up.
Let's the tweet is now deleted. So
okay, I'm saying that. Okay. So what Mike Reese has tweeted instead. Oh my God, I'm zooming in on the wrong screen. This is very confusing. Okay, so we knew about most of these. Oh, wow. Braden Swinson. That's surprising.
Yeah, it is actually, Taylor.
Wow.
That's very surprising. So, so Swinson doesn't make it. Go ahead. Anthony Jennings does make it.
Wow. Okay. But again, that could be a fluid situation as well.
I just have a hard time thinking Braden Swinson clears waivers.
He might not, but I think that's a testament to Elijah Ponder. Because, like, what were we saying?
Yeah.
A lot of depth. Also, a testament to Keon White. I think it shows that they really do want to invest in him. Because Braden Swinson is a talented player. But one thing I mentioned why I liked Elijah Ponder better, when I was saying he's probably going to be a guy that starts games, where I think Swinson was going to be a guy who was probably inactive, was because Swinson was more inconsistent on special teams. Mm-hmm. But he was a stout run defender. He was a really effective run player, or run defense player in the preseason. He was inconsistent as a pass rusher, but still had plenty of flashes where I was intrigued. But again, we talked about how this was a pretty stacked position for them. And okay, you just drafted Braden Swinson. What does that mean for Keon White as an older player who's already in his third season and is going to need some work? I think it says that maybe Keon White is somebody who's going to be more open to special teams. Again, it's fluid, so I don't want to go too deep into that. Mm-hmm. But again, Elijah Ponder is going to be active every game because he can be a core for special teamers. So Swinson is still a surprise, but I think it's more of a testament to their investment in White and what Elijah Ponder was able to prove this summer.
Another note here: your boy Del Pettis made the team. I had him off the roster as recently as yesterday. Clearly, they're really honing in on special teams here with obviously Schooler, Pettis, Baker, Ponder, 4 guys who are going to factor in much more to special teams than they are their side of the football. Now, you mentioned Ponder could make a splash there, but those guys are like special teamers, not necessarily, your.
But I also think that Del Pettis is someone you could develop into a really reliable safety because he's good in man coverage. I think that was one of the areas where he really shined. In this summer, I thought, especially in the preseason, I thought he was really communicative. I thought that he showed good awareness. He has really good closing speed, and he's one of the most, what did I say? One of the reasons I thought he was going to make it was because he's one of their more physical defenders. Like, he gets fired up in the way that reminds me of Jabril Peppers. So Del Pettis, like I was trying to say, don't sleep on him. I think that he is someone who could be a significant role player. against certain offenses, rather.
Patriots re-uploaded their roster. We have the real one here. So let's pull it up. And this is what we'll use as our sort of closing arguments here. Now, we got 11,000 of you in here, so we won't leave just yet because we obviously we got a ton of guys in here. But this is what the Patriots have now for their official.
Caden Wallace did make it?
Who?
Caden Wallace did make it?
Yeah, I thought we had that, no?
Giardi tweeted 2 minutes ago that Caden Wallace didn't make it.
This is a cluster. Maybe he was going off of the original Patriots tweet. I didn't notice if Caden was on there, but
I'm sorry. Also, this is live. This is our first time handling this situation, so I want to formally apologize if there is any confusion. But like I've only showed the other roster to add context to the fact that we thought, what we thought at the time. So I'm sorry for any confusion that we caused, but we have been as confused as you are, and we'll try to wrap this all up in a nice bow before we get out of here, because this is really bugging me out.
So I will say that the Patriots just now released a press release, and I just want to confirm the
Caden Wallace did make it.
Caden Wallace is on the Patriots roster.
Yes.
So Braden Swenson is not. So that's the big one here. Polk and Tavai go to the short-term injured reserve list. Polk's a noteworthy one.
Interesting for short term. Or Jalen Polk is interesting for short term, but it does make sense and is also in our view right now, either a vote of confidence in what he could be with more development, because we keep saying on this show it's ridiculous to act like this is a kid who doesn't have any potential and just sucks when he was thrust into a terrible position. So either they want to give him an opportunity to prove himself and add value on the trade market, or they want to legitimately see what he can learn and be in this offense, as well as providing them some insurance at receiver down the road. So it doesn't really disalign outside of Braden Swenson. It doesn't really fall far from what we expected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hendrick Boyd, the team is different, but we figured he was going to be retained in some way. Jelani Tavai, injured reserve, we figured. Mm-hmm. We just thought that and also the fact that Jalen Polk wasn't put on injured reserve, we knew he was going to, but short term felt like a kind of far off because you have so many players at the position. Obviously, they just kept 8, although we think a trade could happen with Kendrick Bourne. Mm-hmm. How is that going to work out? So, it's not super far off. Braden Swenson is the one thing that I've seen where I'm like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But what about you? What here? Oh, also, obviously, Anthony Jennings making it is significant, but
there's 3 players on the roster that could easily be traded, I would say, by the time week 1 happens. I think that's the big takeaway. You look at Kendrick Bourne, you look at Anthony Jennings, you look at Kyle Duggar, 3 players who, even when we did our roster, when me and you did our roster projection before the final preseason game, we had none of those guys on the roster because we assumed Kendrick Bourne was going to be short-term IR. And there was a report that Duggar and Jennings could potentially be floated. So while they're on the initial 53-man roster, I just want to keep pointing out that this is going to be an incredibly fluid situation throughout the next 2 weeks. But they feel as though for now it's important to them to retain those guys rather than release them. I think they know they have talent there. Because it could have been, it would have been easy to cut bait with Kyle Duggar and Anthony Jennings, right? Like, it's only money, and Jennings didn't seem like
we have to remember, like, this could just be they need more time.
Exactly. That's kind of the thing here too. But at least they see the value in cutting them. They don't get anything for them. If they hold on to them, they at least have flexibility and retain their rights. And then from there, you can make a trade happen, or you try and get the most out of these, these talented players you guys have, or these guys have. So I still think the biggest surprise is Bourne not ending up on short term, especially given the fact that we haven't seen him in almost a month. Like, that means that they expect him to potentially play within 4 weeks or trade him within 4 weeks. So, that's the big one. Besides that, Marte Mapu makes a late push. Good for him. I didn't get my my hot take right yesterday. Jack Conley was released. DJ James makes it.
Huge, man. Like he wasn't really on my radar that much. And it's because he's like a tall guy, but he's very thin. And I also the only tape I had on him was when he was with the Seahawks, and they put him in the slot, which is like, think of a guy who's built, he may be thin, but like an Emmanuel Forbes, right? He's thin, but it doesn't mean that you should put him inside because there's a lot of different mechanics, right? You have to be very quick. You need to have great change of direction. And if you're built to be outside like a DJ James, it really exposed him. And they had like crossing routes and things where he would just get dusted because he had to play a two-way release versus playing outside where most of the time you have the sideline to help you. And seeing him back on the outside playing consistent snaps, especially with no Christian Gonzalez and no Carlton Davis, he really made the most of it. Like, he was competitive all the time. He gave up some plays, but there were very few days where I was like, wow, he got dusted. He usually, if he got beat for a touchdown in red zone, he would break up a pass or two. So I really want to credit DJ James, man. He has been very impressive and is the reason, along with Alex Austin's development, being an inside-out corner who has shown, I think, much improved awareness, both spatially and situationally. Those two guys really deserve a lot of credit for their ability to make pushes and I think earn roles on this team. Like, I don't think DJ James is just going to play special teams. I feel like he's going to end up playing snaps.
I'm just reading more news. I didn't mean to not have anything.
No, you're good. I know we got to fill time, so I'm just going.
No, I appreciate it. I'm almost knocked over my my ironing board that's working as my my desk down here. But I'm just reading through here again. Jack Westover makes it. Obviously, we kind of expected that. I just
Amit's also we have to give Amit credit for DJ James. He put in the group.
Yes,
chat. DJ James. Amit was on DJ James from day one. So, producer Amit
is Kendrick Bourne or Braden Swinson more of a surprise to you?
Braden Swinson, because we knew Kendrick Bourne was going to be on the team somehow unless he got moved.
Fair.
I think some people did point out that like Swinson was quiet. I thought that he was a really effective bull rusher, and that was a reason he felt quiet, because he wasn't just smoking guys in the way that shows up in highlights. But like I've also mentioned, it's a very deep group, and he wasn't a very effective. I thought he wasn't a net positive as a special teamer and had room to grow. And again, I think he can go to another team and be their third edge guy who earns extra snaps. But, I just didn't. This is a stacked unit, and Elijah Ponder was fantastic. And again, I think this showed that they meant it when they said that, like, no, Keon's going to play a lot, and we want to develop him.
Well, I think that we'll do it. We got more to hit here. That's our 53-man roster. Some surprises here as fifth-round pick Braden Swinson was released. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen too often. So it's a roster flexibility thing. I would be kind of surprised if he was not claimed.
So that's why Mike Vrabel was mad that the report was that he had season-ending shoulder surgery.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, it's fascinating. The trading of information in this industry. What'd you say?
Just tweeted the rat slide.
Yeah, right. So, all right. Well, that is our Patriots 53-man roster. Born two guys that are trash. Someone's talking smack in the chat now about the Patriots. I'm just gonna look at a couple of comments here to see if we can hit anything else before we get out of here. But Taylor, people want to know where your Italian comes from.
My mom, her last name's Palermo. She's Irish and Italian and Native American.
Love it. Is Gonzo going to be good to go week one? I assume so. That felt like a shove him for camp and get ready for the regular season. If he was going to be anything more than a month, I would say that they would have used the short-term IR thing on him, but they don't. So I expect him to be ready for week one. He did make the roster. 7 wide receivers is wild. Well, They kept 8.
8.
They kept 8. So that's insane. Not insane, but I wonder if they should have kept Braden Swinson in there. It's a numbers game, and again, it'll get parsed out over the next 10 days or so leading into week 1. So as those moves continue to happen.
Was there a Christian Gonzalez update that we missed?
I don't believe so.
I just saw it in the chat. I wanted to make sure.
Let me do a quick Twitter search. No, I think it's just the fact that he made it and has been out for as long as he has. So, yeah, it looks like he's going to be good to go. Or
closest we've ever been on a roster projection. Sorry.
Say that again.
I just stomped on you all on the whole thing. I'm sorry. I feel like this is the closest we've ever been on a roster projection.
Maybe.
Or 2 players we didn't think were. There was one player that made the team that we thought would be off, and one JaMychal Hasty was the only cut. Oh, JaMychal Hasty, I'm sorry, and Braden Swinson, but we just barely photo finish switched our opinion on JaMychal Hasty.
Yeah.
So the only one truly that we really whiffed on was Braden Swinson. I'm trying to think of like
Swinson's the big stunner. That's the one that I question. Everything else makes sense.
IR stints. Like if we had known that Jalen Polk, I think we still would have thought it was going to be season ending. But like,
yeah,
no, actually, no, it would have been a better conversation because if we knew, like, oh no, it's not going to be a season ending thing, he can come back, and then it's Kendrick Bourne versus Jalen Polk. That's a very different conversation.
Right.
Yeah, because if you can trade Kendrick Bourne when he's on IR, you can just be like, yeah, we put him on IR, but we're going to trade him or whatever the case is. It's interesting. That would have been way more fun. Damn, man. I had a feeling too, like no offense to Jordan Schultz. I remember when that report came out, I had a bad feeling because no one else on the beat, like none of the vets on the beat were really acknowledging it. And to be honest, I had taken a nap and I had woken up after like half an hour and it had happened. And I was like, oh, damn, like I missed some news. And I had a bad feeling. And I shouldn't have done it. I think other people acknowledge it in different ways, but yeah, that was a lesson for the amateur beat reporter.
There is lessons in everything we do here, Taylor. You learn something new every day.
Wait, chat, should I delete my tweet acknowledging Polk going on IR, or do I keep it up as punishment? I don't know. How does this work on the internet? Am I supposed to keep it up, or do I
keep it up?
Or do I delete it not to spread misinformation, or do I keep it as a token of my stupidity?
Wasn't it like a week and a half ago? Who cares?
Was it a week and a half
Anything?
ago?
Maybe a week ago.
Let me see.
Maybe it was only Friday. Maybe I'm losing my mind.
August 21st was 5 days ago. Jeez, time flies when you're
a week and a half. I'm losing it.
A 20-day damn training camp. No, I don't want to say damn because it was very cool of them to let us just kind of watch practice. That was awesome. Also, let's say this now that we're at the end of this, like bravo to the Patriots sincerely for a fantastic training camp. Like that was the way that everything was handled. Everything was very accessible. It was very respectful, and it's always respectful. But just there was a not even shilling, but like really it was different, and there was a dedication to like involving, like when Vrabel talks about involving families, like dude means it. I'm not going to go into detail necessarily, but he really does try to make everyone feel appreciated, and it was felt. So I just want to give everybody in Patriots PR their flowers. This was a fantastic summer. And like even when we were in Minnesota, dude, they like had a whole thing set out for us, like because I was so broke at the time and I could like not afford to eat, and they did like a little thing for us, and it was like, oh, I was like, oh my god, thank God. I got myself dinner and lunch for the next day. I was very appreciative because I was beat at the time. But yeah, I just want to say sincerely, like thank you to Patriots PR, because those things are appreciated. Just no,
good aside, they ran a smooth camp, and Now that we have a 53-man roster, and now that yesterday's training camp was the last full practice we'll see, we're officially in regular season mode. And I think that's, that's exciting. That's when we get into a real groove, a real grind here. We got a better Patriots Daily schedule here. We get a more fit Mike Vrabel schedule. Vrabel speaks these days. Drake May speaks these days. We get injury reports. We have the big news, which is week 1 coming up against the Las Vegas Raiders next Sunday, September 7th. And until then, from now until then, we'll have you guys updated here just about every single day on Patriots Daily to recap what goes on in Patriots land. Practice tomorrow.
Oh my God, we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. It says 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. That's so cool. Oh, it's almost 1, 2, 3.
It's gone because more people are showing up.
That's sick.
How do these things parse out now? We have 1,400.
Oh, I never knew that you could see.
Yeah, you scroll over.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Wow, we're rolling on Twitter right now too. There are a lot of people watching us. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
That's so kind of you.
No, I'll tell you after.
Yeah. Well, I guess that should be it because the Patriots have a 53-man roster and we don't have much more to react to. So as more things come, as things change, we'll be here on Patriots Daily to react to it. And Patriots are back at it at practice tomorrow. So we should have some sort of, you know what? I'll tease this out there. Patriots Daily, Patriots Beat crossover tomorrow afternoon, reacting to not just the Patriots news, but their practice squad as well. So tune in to that. We'll be here at some point tomorrow. We don't have it scheduled out just yet, but Patriots Daily, Patriots Beat crossover tomorrow. And I've tried to do this 5 times now, but I think I'm actually going to do it. That's going to do it for our Patriots Daily live 53-man roster reaction. He's Taylor Kyles. Taylor, thank you so much, as always, for doing this with me, for keeping us informed on all things Patriots. And we will see you tomorrow for our crossover. Scroll back to the beginning for our entire recap of the 53-man roster. And until tomorrow's crossover, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we will see you next time. Peace out, everyone.